Hello, everybody. I'm Nichola, and I'm here again with my lovely dear friend Laara. Hi, Laara.
Hi,
How are
Nichola.
you today, my love?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Your hair looks lovely today.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Had a little trim.
I washed mine specially for you. Oh dear, we tried to record a few times and we keep giggling, so I just don't know how this is going to go today. But the reason why I brought Laara on is because Laara is a long-term friend of mine, and I have watched Laara's growth over the years, and I'm always so impressed by how you lead your life, and the grace with which you lead your life, and seeing you kind of growing into a very sovereign being and creating financial independence for yourself and for your future is something that I want to share with my community so they can learn from you in the steps that you're taking, if that's all right.
That is all right. I'm not sure I always achieve grace, but I aim to.
You do. You do indeed. So today we're going to look at the social credit core system, score, and possibly Nesara Gesara as well. And we're looking at hopefully finding the truth and maybe having a different viewpoint on what Nesara Gesara is about, which Laara would bring. So I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on that.
So, I mean, I'm not an expert in any of these fields. I'm just, what would I say? I'm an explorer, really. But I think, I mean, Nesara Gesara became really kind of like, you know, words that were very popular, didn't they, last year? Last year especially, but Nesara was a National Economic Security Recovery Act. And it was never actually a debt jubilee. I know that I think it's been kind of twisted, really, that a lot of people are hoping, expecting, especially last year I heard people saying, you know, can't wait for Nesara Gesara to arrive. And it's not going to arrive. And yes, there may be a writing off people's debts, but they will be owned by that write-off of their debts. So Nesara was actually written in between the 1980s and the 1990s by Harvey Francis Barnard. And it was a proposal for an economic reforms. And he wasn't in Congress. He wasn't part of, you know, the government in the US. Sorry, losing my voice. He was a graduate in systems philosophy, and an engineering consultant. There's lots of information about Nesara on Wikipedia and other places, and he wrote this monetary and fiscal policy on reform, and it was actually published. He published 1,000 copies and sent them to Congress. Sorry, I'm just going to have a drink.
Take your time.
And it was actually titled "Draining the Swamp: Monetary and Fiscal Policy Reform, 1996. There was a second edition, and those copies were apparently sent on to Congress. Who read them? Who knows? You know, they might not have been read. They might have been read. They might have been chucked in the bin, and so. It wasn't, there were changes to the monetary system that were proposed. They were proposals. And then there was a Nesara Institute that was set up in 2001. But I think that what's happened is, well, I don't really know what's happened. Nesara was, the name was kind of taken forward as this debt jubilee, and in the sort of the holistic spiritual realms, certainly it's been inflated to be, you know, nirvana, taking away everybody's debts. And then it seemed that the Gesara was for global. So, but if you know, National Economic Security and Recoveries Act, it wasn't, you know, that is what Nesara actually stands for.
Yeah.
So the Gesara would be Global Economic Security and Recoveries Act. It's not a get rid of your debts and live happily ever after, which is kind of what, you know, a lot of people are hoping and band around.
Yes, and I was too, absolutely. And I do believe that in the future we have this new world where we will have our own money and finances. I do believe that's waiting for us in the future. But right now, where we are, there'll be a lot of people hoping and waiting for this to come, and we think it may not, or may not be quite what people think it might be. There might be a catch, there might be a hidden clause. And wasn't Nesara supposed to actually be launched to the public, and then we lost the Twin Towers, didn't we, at that time? Was it the day before or on the day of?
I mean, I'm not going to say anything particularly on that, because there's lots of things that have been said about Nesara, and certain times it was about to be come through, but who actually knows, really, to be perfectly honest?
Yeah, no one, we don't know.
And really, you know, this, if you look at what is happening, and yes, you can look at sort of, you know, 5D dimension and all of that, and think, well, of course Nesara must be coming. But when you look at the fact that our financial system is changing, being transformed, or one could say it's evolving, and when you look at what is actually playing out in the world, Nesara isn't going to happen in a nirvana, you know, all your debts are taken away. The way that would happen is asset stripping, and stripping people's assets and wealth because the businesses have gone bust, they've not got a job because their industry's been destroyed, and they will be owned if they're not sorting out their future. And I'm certainly not saying it from a place of being like solid on the ground with, you know, a couple of million in Swiss francs and a pile of gold. I was going to say in the bank, but I'm not so, you know.
No, I know, and I was thinking that when you were about to say it, I was like, bank? Where's having money in the bank? But yeah.
That's another topic, but
yeah.
It's going to be asset stripping.
Like your house and things like
your
that.
House,
everything.
You know, you will own nothing.
Nothing and be happy.
So I'm sorry, but the people who think that Nesara is going to happen and they're going to, well, I mean, if you want to be owned and you want to be tracked and chipped and all of that, then fine, go ahead. But I definitely don't want that, and I'm not
that either.
So people really need to, in whatever way they can, start to take responsibility, actually, and not think that they're just going to have all the debts, you know, written off for them. So you know, that brings us to kind of like the QFS, and everybody, you know, not everybody, but that was bandied around an awful lot last year. and you know, there were very popular people on YouTube and what have you, talking about this amazing quantum financial system. And there is going to be a new financial system. In fact, there already is pretty much under the surface, but it's not this amazing, well, it is lightning. It will be, you know, not lightning speed, but it will be very, very quick for transactions. But it's not what people are hoping for. They're hoping, there's a lot of people hoping that Nesara Gesara is, and this amazing quantum system where money isn't needed is all coming in. And the quantum financial system is really the bankers' new financial, the banks and the institutes' new financial system that will all be digital. Yeah, speed of light. No money needed. Just be, you know, they won't need to print the money, will they? They'll just change the digits on the quantum financial system computers on the computers.
Apparently, this computer is so amazing that it can even tell if you have a good heart. And if you don't have a good, kind heart, you won't get any money.
Well, you're not far behind there, because
I mean, in a way, yeah, this is what the whole system is about. But it's been said by a popular YouTuber that it can read your heart. It can tell. Oh my God! And people believe it. But the thing is that a lot of people are also believing that this QFS, because it has been brought out by popular YouTubers, is something that's already running in the background, has been switched on for some time, and is amazing and is everything that we want in our lives, right? But actually, the opposite may be true, and people just need to be really, really careful.
The opposite is well, it's going to be a digital blockchain run on the blockchain, and we'll have CBDCs, which is central bank digital currency, and that is what it is. And you know, you only have to look at China and their system. I mean, they have a social credit system, don't they? So that'll expand, no doubt. And there's 33 million companies in China in certain regions. I don't think it's all over the place, but there's trials going on that are signed up for, obviously, a business social credit system or score. But the point is, you know, the Bank of England have, you know, with the digital currency, this programming, and the Bank of England have announced to Parliament that can be programmable. So, you know, when you look at the tech that's happening, so you have your assets stripped and you're on UBI, Universal Basic Income. Lots of us have heard that bandied around. Yeah. And you go to the shop and you've been a naughty person because you've been saying something against the government, or you've bought things that weren't green.
Yes, or you didn't get enough sleep, maybe because they can track your sleep, or you didn't do enough exercise, or you didn't do enough in the community to help people. Like every single aspect.
Yeah,
absolutely. Even like being able to get into social media sites and stuff, paying online for things, banking online. Potentially, we could be stripped of every single right to access our money, right?
Yeah, especially if you're on UBI, you know, Universal Basic Income, and you're relying on government money coming through. You're in a much deeper hole there. Yes. If it, you know, that's not necessarily, who knows for the rest, for the people who have created some solid foundations, you might have your money elsewhere. I mean, it's a very big topic, but if you're thinking that Nesara Gesara is going to save you and the quantum financial system is going to be like this heaven on earth, then you need to wake up and smell the daisies, because it's just not what's rolling out, really. And, you know, you go back to, you will own nothing and be happy. That is the ultimate
goal
that the controllers want.
Yes, even our cars, we won't have the right, you know, electric cars will be smart. They'll all be completely tracked, and the amount of mileage you can do will be tracked and all be dependent on your score. And
yeah, all of that, you know,
it's not something to feel excited about, for sure. So decentralized is the way. This is where cryptocurrencies and things come in. So this is our way out of that, do you think? Would you believe?
Well, I think it's a combination, really. I mean, I'm not an expert on cryptocurrency. I was late to the party. Yes, I have listened and researched, and that's where I come from, because I'm not into kind of the trends and what's in and what's not, really. I'm into, well, originally I was really into listening about the new financial system. So I think, you know, cryptocurrency and all of that whole realm is not necessarily the what would you call it, the way out for everybody, or the total way out. But I think it's just giving yourself, it's a number of things, isn't it? It's working towards getting yourself in a better financial position so that you're not reliant on others. It's learning about, you know, crypto, having exchange accounts and giving yourself more flexibility, or finding banks that are happy to move your money over onto exchanges, because they're not all happy to do that. And but not, you know, not thinking that, you know, this is all, we're all immediately heading into this amazing place of freedom where banks and money and what have you isn't needed, because we're all heading into, you know, a higher realm, because we've got a way, I would say we've got a way to go, and we have to navigate, you know, what is rolling out over the world. And the more solid we are financially, the better, really.
Yes, and independently financial.
Yeah, independently financial. So quite a, you know, a dark, deep subject. And I wouldn't say, you know, I'd almost say that the financial system is, yes, it's changing, but in a sense, it's evolving to be tighter round people, a tighter matrix.
And control people with it.
Yeah. Totally. That's why, you know, I mean, some of the cryptos are linked up to digital ID. So, you know, I mean,
we won't be having those then. Thank you.
Actually, I do own some of, I do have tokens that are going to be, that are connected to that. Because because they're going to be, you know, their utility. And yes, one could say it's making money off the reptilian's tail. I care about freedom and making, and oh, it's going to sound awful, isn't it? I care about freedom, liberty, having flexibility. But if I can buy something that's actually going to increase in value, then that helps me to get to
Those
that
things, yes.
thing.
Yeah.
I'll do it, because
Yeah.
I said last time, otherwise you wouldn't walk out onto the pavement, would you? Because the government put down the tarmac. So we have to. It's like we're both involved in CFX and they do forex trading. It's like saying, oh, I definitely don't want to be involved in that because the banks do it. But if we can empower ourselves by utilizing the system, our system, not necessarily in the way that they want to enclose us in, but in a capacity that actually, one, broadens our knowledge, two, broadens our horizons and moves us to a better place financially.
We all have the dream, don't we, to be financially free and just living life on our terms and having enough to be able to do those things that we are free to do. So my worry is that maybe later this year, I'm not sure when, we might get a revival in America, right? When a certain person comes back onto the stage, perhaps, and that then there will be all these offers of like money being thrown at the people. This is just kind of the analogy that I'm seeing, which people will then pick up as Nesara Gesara. And I would also say that perhaps people just need to be really careful and discerning if that does happen, because it might be a trap.
Yeah, it might be a trap.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could almost, when you look at this, you will own nothing and be happy. And this sort of wonderful world where you have your food dropped off. There was a video, I think they've taken it. I don't know whether it'll still be on BitChute or somewhere from the WEF, World Economic Forum. And there was somebody coming out of the front door and they had a package. The idea is eventually you'll have a drone dropping your food, but what will the food be? Yes, they'll say it's vegan because they want to, because it's the green agenda for all the food to be green, so to speak, non-meat.
Apart from insects.
Well, bugs, insect. No, it'll be lab grown, won't it?
They have packets now of like mealworms and all sorts of crickets and insects that this is what they're going to be bringing through to us. That will be our meat source. The rest will be soy, GMO foods and everything like that, all designed to weaken and kill us, of course. Oh, Jesus. What a life we're in. Oh, but I have to keep reminding myself, Laara, we all signed up for this. Like, we knew this and we came here to fight this system and break free. Oh my God. So one of the ways that we can do this is refuse to kind of put our money into the beast system, and where we can withdraw it and put it into something else that's like kind of running on the side of that, like CFX or something like that, for example.
Well, I think, I have money in the bank and I'm not going to just take all my money, I'm not just going to take my money out of the bank, because what do I do with it? I don't want it all on an exchange. There's no point putting it under the mattress. Who wants like a load of cash under your mattress? And I have heard people saying that they've taken all the money out of the bank and what have you. And there are financial experts or financial people saying take your money out of the banks. Is that linking in with the fear, or you've got to, I think everybody, I don't think that there's a one way for everybody. We've got to consider where we're at, our financial position, place, good, bad, or indifferent, or a mixture, and make some calls that are to do with empowering yourself. Learning about exchanges and so maybe look at how you can generate money that could be out of the system, or just give your money, for starters, give your money more attention.
Yes. So, and it is an exchange like a bank, but it's like the opposite of the bank, is it? This is like a Bitcoin thing, or a...
I mean, the exchanges, most of them are like trading exchanges. I mean, if you buy crypto, it's classified as, some of them say it's you know, you press on the buy button, but in a way it's a trade. You know, you're trading one thing in for another. So there's masses of different exchanges, and yes, most of them are going to have, probably just about all of them. Well, not all of them. There's a few obscure ones that haven't got BTC on, but a lot of them are going to have, you know, the known cryptos like BTC, which of course you can pay for things with BTC.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
You know, a lot of them have cards that you can use.
I'm at crypto.com and I have a really nice card. Yeah, I think I put 20 quid on there a few months ago and it's almost up to 100. I've done nothing with it. I've just let it sit in accrue, which is really quite nice.
So you traded that for BTC, for Bitcoin?
No, I bought Bitcoin and Laara and something else. I think I might, maybe one or two things. I didn't have very much. I just thought, oh, I'm just going to throw that into this wallet just to see what it can do. And it's not like 100 quid, which is really nice.
But that's not always guaranteed, is it?
No, it's not. No. So it is a risky game as well.
Yeah, it is. You take that risk, but I think it's looking at ways that you can, you know, if you're sitting there thinking Nesara Gesara is coming and the quantum financial system's going to save your ass, then and you can just, you know, will just be given money and life will be, you know, filled with joy and flowers and happiness.
It will be at some point in the future.
At some point, but whether it will be in our lifetime, I don't know. But you need to be waking up really to the fact that we have to get ourselves in a good financial place, whatever that means to you. Not owned is a good financial place, and diversify so that you're not, you know, if you've never ever used Bitcoin or bought Bitcoin or had an exchange, you've just got one bank account, then start to look at other options for yourself. How, and also how you can generate money. How can I generate money? I mean, we're involved in a number of things, and CFX is one of them that does the Forex trading. And that is a roadmap to get you into a better financial system. It's not for everyone. There's lots of different platforms that do sort of similar things, but you just need to be broadening your horizons and then and making smart choices and being smart with the money that you have.
Yes, and rather than maybe like spending it, try saving it. Do I really need this, or would this money be better off if I just put it into something else? That's what I'm starting to train myself to do, because I want my money that I do have to actually work for me and to grow. So being really careful about not spending it recklessly or on things where it would be wasted, and also not buying in the beast system as much as possible. So like refusing to buy junk foods and, you know, things like that as well. Refusing to give them my money also really helps. And then you start shifting your awareness to finding, well, where can I put it where it will grow? Where can I put it where it will be valued and I can get something back from it? It's a much nicer way of doing. And when I came into CFX after watching you for a couple of years, I've been really pleased to see how that first investment has just grown. Is it 1% a day, isn't it? So it's very gradual.
It's around, yeah, it's not 1% it's not a shiny object.
No, it's not at all. No.
It's been created more as a long-term roadmap and company, as opposed to a shiny object. I mean, there's lots of platforms that give higher returns than CFX, but they don't all stay around. So you have to make be discerning, connect with people that you connect with, and learn about what it actually is and what it can actually do for you. I mean, although I joined at the back end of 2019, I didn't start taking any notice until last March, which was when I got obsessed with the new financial system. And still, now I listen pretty much daily. It's unusual for me not to listen to something, not necessarily about that, but to do with money or crypto or learning about something. And I don't spend all day doing it. It might be that I'm walking and I'm listening to something. Like, for instance, Mike Maloney, I shared one of his videos the other day. Mike Maloney is a gold, silver, metals guy. I think he was maybe born on a piece of gold or something like that. I mean, that's his thing, but he's got a wealth of knowledge on the financial system, money system, the history of all of that. And he has a fantastic 1 to 10 series that's very, very easy to listen to. Because I think he says that he's dyslexic, so he did his presenting, he does his videos so that you can understand, they're not overly complex, very easy to listen to.
Cool.
And it's fascinating when you start to look at how money was created, the evolution of money. It talks about the economy and banks and what have you. So education and evaluating where you are, however scary it is, and what can I do today to create some change? What can I maybe not spend my money on that I don't really need, and what could I do with that money instead that actually is going to help it grow
and make you feel good?
Yeah. Makes you feel good.
Because when we waste money, it doesn't make us feel good at all.
Well, maybe for 5 seconds.
Maybe temporary pleasure. Yes. All right, Laara. Well, listen, thank you very much for coming and talking to me again today. I would welcome any questions and comments in the box below, because me and Laara are going to come together every Tuesday to have a chat. So if you have any questions for us, Laara specifically, because she knows much more than I do, and then please do leave those questions in the box. So Laara, is there anything else that you'd like to say before we finish up?
Not really. No, it's personal, apart from personal responsibility. And if you come across roadblocks in like a mental, like, I just have a terrible money situation on it, or it scares me, I don't want to look at it, then start looking at your beliefs.
It's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe we talk about that.
We can do that next week. Yes, I could bring the tarot out as well. Self-worth and money is a big thing, isn't it? Yeah. There is a card, actually, the 5 of Pentacles, which comes up. I mean, we're going to finish, but I'll just do this for a minute. And it very much shows. I'll just get it here for you now. It very much talks about 2 people who are struggling financially and they're left out in the cold. And then you have the system, so you can see the bankers in here with all the money and the elites and everything. And this is us. And this is how they want us to be. They want us to be impoverished. But we don't have to be. We can change that. You see? It's all about sitting in our truth, being really aligned. Then we can create the freedom that we desire. And it's funny, I just got then the sitting behind these cards. That's like the banks and the monetary system, right? That's the elites, that's the cabal in that one card. But we're going to break free of that, and we're going to create our own lives by sitting in our truth, And also, so what happens often with this card is that there can be, like, you can get led into this place by having a low self-esteem or a low lack of self-worth, or trusting all the things that they're telling you, etc. Right? So one of the things about here is about, like, looking up to God. Actually, sometimes that can make people's physiology just even feel better, because you look up, you open up your chest, your heart opens up. So doing something like that, and then changing the thoughts that come in. So if you get a negative thought, change it instantly for something positive. Count your blessings and have faith. There's help available if you need it. And that's one of the things that Laara and I are here for, as best we can.
Yeah, have faith. I mean, we have to take action, inspired action.
Yes.
And if we want something different, we have to do something different.
Yes. And with that Four of Wands as well, there's a few people in that card. So it's not about doing it alone. Even in the Five of Pentacles, there's two people, they're walking the path together. So people, one of the things I'm seeing is about the importance of creating, like, your own eco communities, where you get your friends and your family and people that you love and trust together, and you are kind of investing in different things together, and then you create your own eco community. That's something that I've been seeing people do, and that looks like really good as well. You've got to get those foundations set. I can't help but get my tarot out. There's another card here, just very quickly. This is about teamwork and about building to a plan, and people coming together and putting all of their ideas and their resources together, making sure that the foundation is firm, and then building. But somebody, first of all, had that idea. That was somebody's imaginative spark that came. They had an idea, people came, they're working together to create freedom.
Well, you know, the future is about people coming together and
yes.
interconnectedness. So it you know, whilst personal responsibility is really important, there is going to be much more coming together.
Yeah.
For the future, to create the future that we want. And yeah, perhaps two different, you know, those going that way and us going this way.
Yes, because the way I see it, like, I don't know if I'm right, but the way I understand it is that next year the Pope is going to sign a covenant, and the New World One religion is going to start and open. That will then spark the 7 years of tribulation, apparently. This is what I understand. And then at the end of those 7 years, then we have what I think is the Jubilee. This is when Christ comes back, which you can see in that Sun card. And then we get our peace. Then we get to create our new earth. And then we have all those things that are promised to us. But I think that everything before we get up to that point has to be, we have to be really cautious and careful with. That's what I feel.
Focus.
Yes. And I'm only learning, you're only learning, we're all only learning, and we've been we're finding ourselves in a really weird reality right now. We're all just doing our best to navigate it.
And I think for me, it's, you know, I see, you know, lots of people try and wake other people up. But to be honest, we've just got to start looking after ourselves and taking our personal responsibility. Stop wasting energy on trying to make other people take your pathway.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Because it's really clear who's not coming on, you know, that way. And it's really clear who's coming
that way. Yeah.
And yes, I think that, you know, there is definitely more people who are maybe they were in the center point and just going, you know, there's more and more people who are waking up, but they have to do it themselves. And as much as we put out or waste our energy on saying, shaking them, wake up, you know, it's not, they have to within themselves make that decision, just like we within ourselves make a decision that we're going to look at our scary money situation or scary money story. You know, nobody can make us do those things. We have to make that decision ourselves.
And to grow it is a form of kind of personal responsibility and self-worth then too, isn't it? Valuing the self and stuff and changing. So Laara, thank you. Thank you very much. It's all lots of learning. And I will put links in the description box as well if anybody wants to connect with Laara or myself. Anything else? That's it, I think. All right, my darling. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.